So May has come and gone, and it's finally time for us to do our May wrap-up for all the books I've read this month. So I read a total of 14 books this month. It started off strong, but the last 2 weeks of the month I barely had any time to read, so I read very little. Last month I know I read a lot more, so it is what it is. Before we get into the video, I just want to let you know that when it comes to ratings, I am very well known to be one to change ratings. So take all the ratings I'm giving you with a grain of salt, because in a couple of months, some of these might have changed. So first off, we have the Bloodwing Academy Duology. Now, technically this is a trilogy, okay, but so far we only have 2 of the books out, and I read both of them. I read On Wings of Blood and The Bond That Burns. I gave the first one 4 stars and the second one 3.5, although I kind of liked the second one a little bit better. So this is what I would classify as a, like, if Hogwarts was a vampire academy and Harry Potter was a fae. Only you have different types of magic, and you also have dragons. And that is honestly the gist of it. That is why this didn't get a little bit more of a rating, to be honest, because this was very Harry Potter-y. You have the Great Hall, you have the Gryffindor Common Room, you have the house selection, you have 4 houses, each with their own crest and colors. There's even a pet with the name of one of the Harry Potter characters. One of the main ones, not even a side character that you wouldn't even think about, like one of the main ones. So like, it's a lot of Harry Potter references, a lot of Hogwarts going on, and that kind of like, at first I was like, it was funny, and then after a while it became like way too much and kind of annoyed me a little bit. I really like the main character, I like the side characters, I like the story, I like the world, even though there's not a lot of world to go to, but like, I liked it. But I do think it was really overhyped online, so I do think that was kind of like a bit too much, and you only get dragons on the second book, so go prepared if you're thinking of reading this, because you only have dragons on the second one. The first one is nada. And truth be told, not a lot happens. I do think the reason I like the second one a bit more, because you got a lot more context, you got a lot more information. I don't know, there's things that happen that are a little bit more exciting, even though in the end not a lot in the grand scheme of thing happens. I don't know. It's a weird one for me. I want to see what the third one brings around, and I did enjoy the series, but it's not like the end-all be-all like it was being portrayed online. Next up, we have Metal Slynger. Yes, another one of those booktop hype books. And let me tell you, I love this fucking book up until the last 3 chapters of it. Up until then, this was like a 4.5, 5 stars for me. And then you get the biggest plot twist in the history of plot twists. So this book, basically, you have like a community that's living out at sea. They were like rejected from the mainland. They were thrown out at sea, and now they live at sea. And you have the mainland that has powers in all of this, and the ones at sea don't. And so one of the girls gets taken from the at sea community into the actual like mainland, and she's like with the MMC, and they're like going through their adventures to get to the mainland, and also from the mainland to reach the land where he's from. And a lot of things happen in between, and you have a whole story, and I enjoyed every second of it. Like I saw some people online saying, oh, it's too long, or it prolongs itself a lot, it's like it's boring. I didn't think that. I liked everything. I liked the pacing, I liked the story, I liked the development between the characters. You see the relationship starts to flourish, and you understand why it's happening. That being said, the ending, the twist, is one of those things that it either makes it or breaks it. So initially, when I first read it, I was excited, I was happy, it was a 5-star, I was so excited. Like, the ending was like so mind-boggling that I was like, whoa, oh my god, this is like, I don't think a book has ever done this to me. But then I sat with it, and I really sat with it, and I understood that even though it was the biggest plot twist, it also made it so that the entire book was irrelevant. It was a nice enough plot twist to see, to be fair. Like, it's not the classical plot twist you get in romanticies, but at the same time, it kind of nullifies the entire book, and it makes you not trust the author, I guess. And I also realized like the magical system was not explained to us at all. And also, we're supposed to believe that one of the characters is doing all of it for a good reason. We're supposed to believe that some characters are bad, other characters are good, but they don't tell us why. They don't make us understand why this is happening. What is the thing? Like, trust me, I'm the good guy. Like, how? How are you the good guy? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Anyways, I don't want to prolong myself too much. These 2 series I'm going to be mentioning in a video further along this month, where I'm going to go a little bit more in depth on what I thought about them and all that, and it might have a little bit of spoilers, but I'm going to go a little bit more in depth to that. So if that's something that might interest you, please consider subscribing so you get like access to that video and stuff, and so you get notified when the video comes out. But yeah, I don't want to prolong myself too much more. Next up, I read The Shadows of the Stars. Now, this is the third book in the Alphane Archives. This is a series that is not very well known out and about on Book Talk and BookTube. At least I haven't seen anything about it, and I absolutely love this. This is kind of a romantasy, but the world that is set in is very well developed. There's a lot of history, there's a lot of background happening in that world, and also like the characters have depth, the relationship between the characters are interesting, the magical system itself is very interesting, and it gets more complex as you go. And it's one of those romances where you have everything. You have elves, you have magical beings, you have magical creatures, you have dragons. There's so much happening, so much, but it doesn't get to be too much. I will say, I gave this book 4.5 stars. It's kind of still in the consideration. I might give this a little less. I'm not sure yet, because the first book I loved. I was hooked from the first book, but the first book, other than the romantasy, the actual fantasy didn't have much going on. Like the story didn't progress much, so it was a little bit lower for me. This book, on the other hand, is like an intermediate book. It's smack in the middle of the 5 books that are supposed to come out. And you do feel that, but a lot happens in this book. A lot of development with the characters and the relationships, which is, oh my god, it's my favorite part. Oh, I was dying for a lot of these things to happen. So having them happen all in the same book is so exciting. I absolutely adore it. So character-wise, I love this. The story also moved along. Like there was also progress in the story, but it was definitely not like a whoa kind of situation. You understand it's like a middle ground for the rest of the story, but it was also very well done. Usually the middle book is always very meh, but this one was actually pretty good. Like I honestly really liked it, so I don't know. I liked it a lot. Next up, I read Slaying the Vampire Conqueror. Now, this is a Carissa Broadbent book. It's in the world of her Crowns of Nyaxia series, only in a different island. And I do believe that these characters are going to go into the main story eventually. And this happens between 2 characters, and one is a vampire, one is a human with magical powers. And she's supposed to stop him from conquering her land, but obviously that doesn't happen because this is a romantasy, and obviously they start to fall for each other. I honestly really like the setting, I like the world, I like the characters a lot. I do think the romance itself, we weren't privy to a lot of it, and I did feel the last chapter was just here you go, here's a bone for you. That being said, I really liked it a lot. I enjoyed it quite a lot, so I gave it 4 stars. It's not one of my favorite Crowns of Nyaxia books. I honestly like the 6 Scorched Roses a lot more, character-wise, but it was such a nice, breath of fresh air, and also, getting to know a little bit more about the other gods and the relationships between them, and just other characters in general. It's really nice. So I love everything she writes. I love this world of hers, and I cannot wait to read even more of it. Speaking of which, I also read The Songbird and Heart of Stone, which is also the same world, but this follows, one of the characters from the main story, Misha, and in the main story, she's not very interesting, but in this one, we get to know a little bit more about her background, a little bit more about who she is, what brought her here, what is this trauma that she carries along. And I absolutely adored this book. It's also romantic. She also finds her MMC, obviously. But I like the concept of hell that this book has. I like the trials and tribulations that they go through, their relationship developing. I also enjoyed that a lot. I think they were made for each other in a way, and they just match really well. That being said, I really enjoyed it. I loved it. I absolutely love this book. I give it a 4.5 stars. I only have small little things to say about it, which makes it enough for it to not be a 5 stars. First, the relationship, I loved seeing it develop, but we didn't see a lot of it, okay? And I do feel with the intensity that it has, I would love to have seen a lot more scenes of them together. Also, the trauma that she goes through, it's traumatic, I understand, but it's nothing really. Not to invalidate what she went through, and obviously trauma isn't a competition, but when we read the first 2 books, her trauma is handled oh my god, it was so traumatic. She doesn't even like to mention where she comes from, what family she's a part of. She doesn't like to use her wings or her magic at all. She rejects it completely, and she went through all this immense trauma. You also learn about Rain's trauma at the same time, and Rain's trauma is a level 10 trauma, and hers is 3. And again, not a competition. I understand. I just think it was really hyped up to be whoa out of this world, and in the end it's not that bad. I understand why it was traumatic to her. I understand that it was tough. I was just expecting a lot more due to what we were told in the first book. So my expectations were just set a lot higher, and now I'm kind of left, okay, it wasn't that much. You know what I mean? This sounds so insensitive. That being said, I love the book. I adore the book. Again, Crowns of Nyaxia, Love that series. Next up, we have kind of a controversial book, and it's Silver Elite. Now, initially when I read this, I was really happy with it. I was having a lot of fun. I was really enjoying it. It was kind of a 4 stars for me. There were a few pointers in the book that I didn't love, but it wasn't whoa out of this world. Now, this is supposed to be a dystopian romance. Now, this is a romance fiction, 100%. Dystopian, it's kind of in a dystopian setting, but I don't think it touches on the political side of dystopian as much as it should. The controversy being I don't think the author knows what dystopian means. I agree. I have to agree, because there wasn't much about dystopian. It was just their relationship, just the characters and their relationship, and that was the context, but there wasn't a lot to it. So I am going to go more in depth with this book as well on that video that I mentioned earlier. I gave it 3 stars in the end, just because I did enjoy it. If you want to turn off your brain, you can enjoy it. I do think you can. It's not a work of art though. It's not whoa, Next up, I read Ariadne. Hear me out. I gave this 2.5 stars, and the reason for this is because even though I really like mythology, I really do, it was really boring. I like the characters, I like the mythological part of it. I liked seeing the characters that we hear in mythology as actual people. It was very interesting to see that, but at the same time, the main characters were dumb as bricks. The story was boring. There wasn't much, and it just was very depressing. In a way, it was very If it weren't the mythology, this would be a DNF for me. So this was a 2.5 stars. I think I'm being quite generous, even though I feel bad about giving it that low of a rating, but I think I'm being generous when I do that. So yeah, it was not for me. Next up, I read Immortal. Immortal was wow. Okay, wow. I knew I was gonna like it, and I was excited to read it. When I got it from my TBR jar, I was so excited. It's not very usual for us to get books that are so well known and so hyped up, that are more inspired by Asian cultures. And when we do, they're usually very interesting, very well done. It's so intricate, it's so interesting. I find them awesome, honestly, absolutely awesome. I like the FMC, I like the MMC, I like the world that they were in. I like the fact that there's an immortal world and a human world, but also an underworld. I liked all the characters, the intricacies, the relationships between them. I really liked all of it, honestly, the magic in it. It's very interesting, very cute. I love this MMC. He's just hilarious. I laughed so much. Also him and her best friend, the FMC's best friend. I don't remember names. I'm horrible with names. Sorry. But he is hilarious. He's scared shitless of the MMC, and it's hilarious. I find it so funny when he's teasing her and just intimidating people around her. It's hilarious. I laughed so much. I absolutely love this thing. I don't know, dude, it's awesome. I really liked it. Next up, I went into more the sci-fi realm. I was kind of tired of the romantasy and the fantasy and all that, so I went into sci-fi and I got the Crownchasers Duology. And I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't know much when going into them, because honestly, a lot of times I download these books, I download these things into my TBR. It's been months since I last heard about them, and I just get the name and I'm like, okay, let's go, let's do it. I don't remember anything about it, but let's go, let's do it. And I really enjoyed it. I will say one of the POVs is a very specific writing style, and it is a choice. It was a choice, definitely. And at first I was cringing. I was thinking, okay, I don't know if I can do this if the entire book is like this. Until I realized it was a stylistic choice, and also it gets better throughout time as that character evolves and matures, and also goes through a lot of traumatic situations and throughout her adventures. The quirkiness gets more tame, but also you get used to it and you kind of already expect it. But it's very I'm a badass bitch, very quirky, very nerdy. I don't know how to explain it. But it was very nice. The story itself was nice. The world was nice. The politics in this world is also very well developed, also very well planned. The relationships between the characters are very complex. I don't know, dude. I really liked it. I loved the ending. There was loss. I almost teared up at some points. It was complex. Also, the character herself, she's very complex. The main character, we see her go through trauma and feel all the feelings and go through all of the emotions. It's very interesting. It has a lot of depth to the character. I honestly loved it. So I gave both of these 4 stars. Now, next up, I'm not going to get into this next book because it was an arc that was sent to me and it's not published yet. So I was sent the Darkbirch Academy arc. It's going to be published on the 14th of June. And around that time, I'm going to be posting TikToks about it, about my opinion, my thoughts, my review, all of it. That's when I'm going to be posting all of that. So I'm not going to get into it. All I'm going to say is that I gave it 3 stars. It's a romantasy. It's supposed to be a dark romantasy. I have opinions on that, the definition, but yeah. I'm very thankful for the author for giving me the opportunity to read their arc. I'm so incredibly thankful. I was so happy when I got the email. It's my first ever arc. So yeah, I will be refraining from giving any more opinions until the 14th of June. At the same time as I got this arc, I came across a TikTok video of this author explaining how she just tried to launch her book at some point, has a family emergency, kind of stepped down from that and tried to launch it again. It was just not going well. It was failing. She was having a hard time. She was struggling and it was really tough. And I was like, oh, that sucks. So I looked into the book. Editing Teresa here. In my excitement to explain the book and to get into it, I kind of forgot to say the name of the book, and it is the Stargazers Salvation. Yeah, let's continue. And it sounded like right up my alley, like typical romantasy in space with magic. Like I was intrigued. I was very intrigued. So I purchased the book and I read it on my Kindle app and I absolutely loved it. When I tell you I loved it, I don't think you understand the level of love I have for this book. It's my top read of the month. It's my 5-star of the month. I absolutely adored every single second of it. Honestly, I'm going to make a video specific for this book because I don't think you understand when I say how underhyped this book is. It's absolutely amazing. It's very well written. The world is well developed. The characters are very well developed. We see her go through her trauma and her feelings together with her friends. It has found family. We have a love triangle. We have it's so intricate in terms of the relationships between the people. It's so well written too. Like honestly, that was my first take on this book. I've seen traditionally published books that are not as well written and that are not as well revised, honest to God. And she's an indie author. She published it herself. Like she deserves so much love. I'm gonna leave everything linked down below, guys, if you want to go check it out. It's such an amazing book, but I am going to be making a video specifically for this because I want to start mentioning this book everywhere. And after this 5-star read, I decided I wanted something a little bit more dark, and I've been wanting to read Haunting Adeline, so I did. And honest to God, the internet sucks because honestly, we hear about this book and because there's a gun scene, there is a gun scene, okay? And we're told that it's a depraved book and it's not good and it's so dark and it's like whatever. Boy, it's so good. We are not told how good this book is. It's so good. The story is good. I enjoyed it so much. I love the characters. Like, this is a stalker romance where he starts stalking her and breaking into her house and doing all these things. And there is trigger warnings that you should have into consideration, okay? There are sticky situations, but like, he's also a very good person. What the fuck? And she's also investigating a murder mystery at the same time. So the story itself is interesting. The characters' relationship is also very interesting. I love seeing the back and forth. I love her like rationalizing, falling in love with him. Like, it's so interesting. It's such a good book. Like, I don't understand how people say that, oh, like, you know, I will never read this. This is supposed to be whoa. And I'm like, yeah, it's a bit raunchy. Yeah, it's a more like dark in like the spiciness, but the spiciness is impeccable nonetheless. Like, dude, it's like honestly awesome. It's like every scene. And I kept expecting another one, and it's so good. It's so well written. So honestly, it was a great way to end the month. I gave it 4 stars because there's a few things I didn't love about it. There's a few things I will say that I didn't like. I would have preferred a little bit differently, but like at the same time, it was a very, very nice book. I was so surprised. So I gave it 4 stars. I love it. And I'm gonna start reading the next one because I'm curious to know what happened because it ended up on a bit of a cliffhanger. So I'm very excited to see what the next one comes with. And I've already seen the warning page. She says it's even darker than the first. It's even worse than the first. So I'm just like, yes, bring the darkness. I want to read more. So very excited to see that and see where it goes. Like, very excited for that. If you guys have read any of these, let me know your opinions. I would love to hear a little bit more about it. And if you guys have any recommendations, especially like dark romance and sci-fi, I would love to get more sci-fi recommendations because I really love the Crownchasers Duology. So if you guys have anything like that, I would love for you to give me some suggestions. And also if there's any book that you want me to go more in depth in, like in a specific video or a genre you'd like me to go more in depth, let me know. And yeah, don't forget to follow me on TikTok. I do post there every day, or I try to post every single day. Yeah, you get a little bit more of me. Why wouldn't you want a little bit more of me, you know? Yeah, it's getting late. I need to stop. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you guys next week. Bye.